You've seen the Great Wall of China in pictures, that endless line of stone crawling over jagged mountains like the spine of a dragon. But have you ever wondered what it took to build it? What lives were crushed beneath its shadow? This is not just a wall. It's a graveyard, a legacy, a myth come to life. Millions toiled on it. Thousands died for it. Emperors used it to protect and to control. And today, it stands not just as a structure, but as a symbol of everything China has endured, conquered, and become. In this video, we uncover the untold story of the Great Wall, a tale written in blood and mortar through centuries of conflict, determination, and human sacrifice. We'll expose the myths, reveal the surprising truths, and walk in the footsteps of soldiers, slaves, emperors, and farmers who helped shape one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. Forget what you think you know. This is the real story of blood, sweat, and emperors. Long before China was unified, the region was divided into rival kingdoms constantly at war. These were the warring states: Qi, Chu, Yan, Zhao, and others, each building their own fortifications to keep out enemies and raiders. These early walls were rudimentary, made from tamped earth and wood, not the stone fortresses tourists see today. But they served a vital purpose: defense, especially against fierce nomadic tribes like the Xiongnu, who launched deadly raids into farming settlements. Then came Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China. Ruthless and visionary, he decided to connect these fragmented walls into one mighty barrier across the empire's northern frontier. This was not just about defense, it was about asserting dominance. The Great Wall wasn't just a wall. It was a warning, a demonstration of imperial power. And it was massive, spanning thousands of kilometers across deserts, mountains, and rivers. But its creation came at a devastating cost. Qin Shi Huang used forced labor. Convicts, peasants, scholars who defied him all marched to the frontier, never to return. They worked in brutal conditions with primitive tools. Death was common. Graves were shallow. Many were buried in the wall itself. In time, later dynasties would rebuild and expand the wall. The Han Dynasty reinforced it to protect the Silk Road. The Northern Wei and Sui extended it to fend off Mongol incursions. And the Ming, after centuries of chaos, gave it its most iconic, brick-built form. The Great Wall wasn't only a military installation. It was an economic, political, and cultural artery. Running alongside the wall were roads, beacon towers, and garrisons. Trade flourished in its shadow. Messages could travel hundreds of kilometers a day via smoke signals and fire beacons. This helped the empire maintain control over vast, remote regions. Culturally, the wall influenced everything from poetry to architecture. Painters captured its endless form. Poets wrote verses about exile and loneliness on its ramparts. Artists and engineers developed new construction techniques that echoed across Chinese civilization. Politically, the wall helped consolidate power. By controlling the frontier, emperors kept rebellious warlords in check and forced nomadic tribes into diplomatic submission. It also helped forge a sense of national identity. The wall became a line between civilized Chinese society and the barbarian outsiders. While problematic, this idea deeply shaped Chinese political thought. Even after its military relevance declined, the wall remained a potent symbol of unity, strength, and the vast scale of the Chinese Empire. The wall's construction wasn't a single event. It was a multi-generational effort. And it wasn't built by soldiers or engineers alone. Laborers came from every corner of society. Peasants torn from their farms, prisoners condemned to years of service, skilled artisans ordered to oversee construction. Each person carried stones, dug trenches, laid bricks under the punishing sun or freezing winds. They lived in tents or crude shelters, with little food or medicine. Many died from exhaustion, malnutrition, or exposure. The wall became a grave for the forgotten. Some Chinese idioms still reference it as the longest cemetery in the world. Soldiers stationed on the wall fared little better. Guarding a 1,000-mile frontier meant long periods of boredom, punctuated by terrifying violence. Attacks could come at night, in snowstorms, or after months of silence. Imagine being a young soldier, months from home, watching the horizon for shadows that could mean death. Or a commander, knowing that failure meant not just defeat, but execution. Yet through it all, people persisted. They adapted. They innovated. They created communities around the wall, trading, farming, living in its shadow. And their stories have largely vanished, lost to time. But their sacrifices built the foundation of what would become modern China. While the wall was never truly impenetrable, it changed the nature of warfare. The Xiongnu, Mongols, and later the Manchu all tried to breach it. Sometimes they succeeded. Sometimes they negotiated through the gates. But the wall always made conquest more costly and less certain. The Ming Dynasty, in particular, built watchtowers every 500 meters, so signals could be relayed rapidly. They installed stone barracks, fortresses, and trenches, turning the wall into a layered defensive system. But the wall was also symbolic. It was meant to show strength more than guarantee it. In fact, the Manchu conquest in the 17th century happened not because the wall failed, but because a Chinese general opened its gates. Still, the wall forced invaders to rethink strategies, delayed assaults, and provided vital time for Chinese armies to respond. After centuries of decline, looting, and erosion, much of the wall fell into ruin during the 19th and early 20th centuries. But its legacy endured. In 1987, UNESCO named the Great Wall a World Heritage Site, a moment of global recognition for its cultural and historical value. Today, the wall is one of China's greatest tourist destinations, drawing millions each year. But it's also a symbol of resilience, used in national celebrations, cultural diplomacy, and even the Olympics. Artists draw from it. Architects mimic its curves and strength. Engineers study its endurance. For many Chinese people, the wall is a reminder of their ancestors' perseverance. It connects modern China with its imperial past, not as a monument to conquest, but to endurance. Modern visitors to the Great Wall walk paths that once echoed with the boots of soldiers and cries of workers. They climb crumbling watchtowers, gaze across fog-filled valleys, and touch stones laid centuries ago. Historians and archaeologists continue to uncover secrets, new sections of the wall, hidden murals, ancient documents buried in the dust. Locals living near the wall share oral histories, legends of lovers, betrayals, battles, and miracles. Some still believe the wall holds spiritual power. For tourists, the wall is awe-inspiring. For scholars, it is a window into ancient world building. And for the Chinese people, it is an eternal backbone of their identity. The Great Wall of China is often described as the longest structure ever built. But its real length is measured not in kilometers, but in sacrifice, ambition, and legacy. It began as scattered barricades, rose into an empire's pride, and now lives on as a monument to everything humanity is capable of, for better or worse. Stone by stone, it tells a story of rulers and rebels, visionaries and victims, craftsmen and commanders. It is a wall that both divided and united. And though parts of it crumble, the spirit of the wall endures, whispering from mountaintops, winding through deserts, and etched into the heart of a civilization. This was the Great Wall, a story of blood, sweat, and emperors.